Hi, everyone. I'm Sunil Kaulgi, the CEO of Outclip. Today, I'm joined by Matt Dinsmore, the CEO of Direct Primary Care, a Spokane, Washington based healthcare company. So, Matt uses Outclip to make videos with informational content for interested clients. Today, I'm interviewing Matt to find out more about how he uses videos to grow his business. So, Matt, thank you for joining us. First off, could you give us an overview of your business and a bit of background about yourself?
Sure. A bit confusingly, our clinic is called Direct Primary Care. We named ourselves after a national model, US national model called Direct Primary Care. And there's about 1,400 clinics nationwide doing this model. And basically what it is a membership-based family practice clinic. So similar to like a gym membership, where somebody would pay whatever, $50 per month to have access to all gym equipment. And that can include, treadmill and some exercises and weights. And that individual can use just the treadmill, or they can use all of it, and they can go in every day, or they can never go in, right? It's just that it gives them that access. Well, we have a monthly membership type approach to our primary care services. So for a monthly membership fee, an individual gets unlimited office visits, no co-payments, 24/7 access to a practitioner, either through our HIPAA compliant confidential app or through the phone. And then your membership also gives you great discounts. So like 85% off labs. Any labs done in-house are included in the monthly membership fee, but if we have to do labs out of house, they're about 85 to 90% off. We dispense medications in-house at cost. So that's like 80, 90% cheaper. And then we do procedures in-house, so think like EKGs or sutures, pulmonary function tests. All that, again, is included in the monthly membership fee. There's no extra charge for it. The only time you're charged is for the monthly membership fee, or for, again, at-cost things, like if we get meds for $9, you pay $9 for 3 months of it, right? And we don't bill insurance. So that's kind of the unique flair, and people are going to have to change kind of how they think about healthcare a little bit when they consider that. But really through this model, we're kind of recentering what healthcare should be. And that is a relationship between a provider and their patient, or what we call members. And it's out of that relationship, we think we can provide the highest quality of care. And it's a throwback to kind of like the old model, like 60, 70 years ago, maybe a little bit longer. You really knew your physician or doctor, and you may have paid them in chickens and eggs or whatever. And they may have come over on the weekends. And we got Norman Rockwell, who's kind of that old time, represents old time physician care. And it's kind of like the new age version of that form of care, where we're using telemedicine services to provide high quality care, but a very personal and relational way. That's Direct Primary Care. Personally, I'm a nurse practitioner as well as kind of CEO as the organization. And I spent 6 years kind of doing different things, but 4.5 of it as a nurse practitioner, working with the federally qualified health center, trying to provide care in kind of the insurance world. And just we were doing our best, and I think the organization was doing their best, but under the model of billing insurance, it's just very, very difficult to provide high quality care. And I began to see providers burning out, and really good providers just turn into jerks, just real mean people, right? Because they're stressed out, and the whole reason they went into medicine was to care for people, and they can't do that. And when you take someone's purpose away, they kind of can become a nasty individual, what I found out. And so, but you put them in like a purpose-filled environment where they can live their purpose, like you being able to build out clips and be able to help people, like it begins to fulfill something within them, and they become a better provider. And so I saw that, and I said, there's got to be a different way to provide higher quality care and really empower providers. And so that's when we launched here in Spokane just last November in 2018, launched Direct Primary Care, and have been working to build it up since then.
Got it. So you mentioned this is a new model of healthcare, which is much more intimate and personal. Like, how long has the system been in place? Is it a fairly new system that started?
Yeah, I'd say it started probably in the late 1990s. Actually started in Washington, from my understanding, kind of where we're from, and then has kind of spread since then. And more recently, probably over the past 5 to 6 years, it has really grown like wildfire. Like it's really, people are beginning to embrace it. They're seeing the value of the model, and there's probably a direct correlation with increasing premiums, like people paying a lot of money for their own healthcare now, companies not being able to afford health insurance for their employees and families. And so people are looking for alternatives and are willing to entertain alternatives like direct primary care plus some other major medical plans, and can be a very reasonable solution. So especially over the past 5 or 6 years, it's exploded, but in some form of it, like concierge medicine type form, since the late 1990s.
Okay. And is yours primarily a telemedicine based healthcare company, or do you also do in person?
Yeah, I'd say that's a hard question. I'd say no. We're brick and mortar.
Okay.
So, and most of the people who sign up are in Spokane, right? We don't provide services outside of Spokane or telemedicine services. Every member, however, does get that HIPAA compliant confidential 24/7 telecommunication app. And so where we can do a majority of our care. So we do a lot of telemedicine services through that, but we don't have anybody from Seattle just using our telemedicine services.
So in some of our conversations before, you mentioned that you're using videos to create information pieces for interested clients. So could you tell us, and you mentioned that video is a much better way to get things across compared to a long email.
Yeah.
So can you tell me like what sparked that idea, and yeah, something about like what kind of content you create for your clients?
Sure. Well, what I've found is that when I say direct primary care, and I didn't know this a year ago either, but when I say direct primary care, most people have no idea what that is, right? And it's this entirely different concept. And so you're trying to try to describe something entirely different in a very succinct manner, in a way that makes sense. I began to find it was the greatest challenge for me in trying to get members in, right? Education is the biggest piece. When people are coming to figure out your product, it's not top of mind. Like you need to spend time in the trenches with people describing what we do to see if it really can to be valuable to them. And so I started thinking, well, what platforms can we use to deliver this message in a way that people can understand? And I don't know if it's just because I'm not like the best writer in the world, or because I'm a millennial and I use like emoticons and things. Like I don't know. I'm personal, okay? I think it's good, but what I found is like, man, there's got to be a better way. And so I started looking at video services that can help deliver messages. And the way that I think about it, Sunil, is that like when we're having a conversation, I can see you, right? Nonverbal cues are huge. And majority of the way that we communicate is through nonverbal cues. And when it comes to our care, especially from a provider, trust is huge. And I think we communicate trust and care non-verbally a lot, right? So it's really important for us to use a platform where people can vet us, right? And see if we're legitimate or if we're slimy salesmen, and hoping that they can see my heart in my face, and that would communicate how we do care for people, right? And as I was kind of thinking about this, I was thinking, if pictures are worth 1,000 words, and I don't know at the rate Outclip records, but if it's like 30 frames per second, right? So I mean, how many millions of words can you fit, right, in using Outclip or something like that to communicate a message much better than any ad or email or something along those lines, or even a phone conversation? When I'm trying to deliver about what direct primary care's benefits are, I feel like it's really important, in no egotistical way, but for people to see my face and hear my voice, right? Because I'm passionate about it. And so I want them to hear that. Like, this is not just a job for me. This is a mission and a purpose. And I want people to know that. And I can't think of another way outside of meeting face to face that I can deliver that message to multiple people, like thousands of people, except through a software like Outclips.
Got it.
Yeah.
And you mentioned your audience is primarily in Spokane, right? So in the local area.
Yeah.
So how do you? So who specifically is your audience in terms of demographics and that sort of thing?
Yeah, tough question, but I would say majority of like our target market is typically women, because women of a family, right? Women tend to be the chief financial officers of the family, tend to be, and they also are the ones generally making the medical decisions for the family, right? I had a lady just yesterday uh, schedule an appointment for her husband. Like, this is kind of common. And so the husband shows up like dutifully, bang what his wife made him. He's like, I'm not even sure why I'm here. I'm just, she told me to come here. Okay. So I'm coming here. And that is kind of like a very common story. So that's kind of our target market, because those are people kind of making the decision point when it comes to healthcare for their family, and also feeling the pinch point. We're like, guys tend to be like really miserable, sick people. Like they whine a lot, right? That's the stereotypical thing. But they don't seek health services as much, right? They need an advocate, which tends to be their wife or spouse or significant other. So that's kind of our market. And we reach out, we use Outclips specifically, and I would say in two main ways. So one is that we'll record, I'll record something like this, talking about direct primary care, that I can then post on our website. So because Outclips just is so easy to post to YouTube, you just like hit a button and it goes, and here's the link to copy it. And because it's so easily posted to YouTube, now I can put that on the website very easily, so people can access our videos and get that educational piece from our website. And then the second main way is I'll create shorter clips, what I call, sometimes we do like a Teaching Tuesday series, where I'll talk about something medical or how direct primary care can help. And I will put that as on our Facebook post. And sometimes we'll make Facebook ads out of that, like boost the post, and trying to always communicate our messages through video, because what I hear from marketing professionals is like, videos king. So we try to use that to deliver our message.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
And also, you mentioned like you started using videos more, right? So is video replacing anything else specifically? Like, were you doing something and then you switched over to videos and you stopped doing something else? Like, I'm just curious about what it replaced.
I would say one thing that it has replaced is me trying to effectively communicate through written email how to like accomplish a task. So I've used this for like training, or if somebody's like caught up in something, sometimes it's way easier for me to do a screenshot and record and say, let me show you, like IT purposes. Let me show you how you sign up. So you go here, you click this, here's my mouse, you can see it, click this. If you have issues here, do this. Like, that is worth 1,000 words. We use a software and they do that with me. They share GIF or GIF files or whatever that's called. And it's just, pictures worth 1,000 words. It just makes it so much, communicates so much more clearly. So I'll use it. It's been a time saver because of that. Because I'm not trying to like, okay, if they read this, what are they going to see? There's a lot of thought to try to clearly communicate something, when I can just show them, this is what to do, this is what I do. So it's been a time saver. And then I've replaced spending all that time formulating email to answer a question, like a technical question or something like that.
Got it.
Yeah.
I had a kind of question about the direct primary care model. So
Yeah.
are your clients, are they getting direct primary care in addition to their insurance, or are they getting this solely as their form of healthcare?
There's kind of like three people who will access direct primary care nationally. One are those who have insurance. So admittedly, somebody who has great insurance isn't paying a dime for it, has a low deductible. The only reason they would go to direct primary care is for the type of relationship, the extended office visits, the same day guarantee, that type of thing, right? Concierge medicine. They're paying an extra fee for concierge medicine. There is a group of people that have insurance that have like a high deductible plan. And so they're trying to get their premium as low as possible, what they're paying out monthly. And they'll pair that with a direct primary care membership. And what studies are finding out, as we're kind of getting more research, is that generally people who have a high deductible plan and have direct primary care, they save about 30% on medical costs and another about 20 to 30% on prescriptions, and altogether save nearly 50% on medical costs, right? Because we're kind of like gobbling and eating all that up, and our primary care providers are doing what we should be doing, which is like treating people and consulting with specialists and providing urgent care access. And what we find is that model, when you emphasize primary care, we're actually saving costs. People are spending less, even paying for direct primary care membership, than if they were dipping into their deductible all the time, which is so high nowadays that people are having to like have their leg chopped off before they meet their deductible and then are utilizing their insurance. So that's kind of people can use insurance, and like if they see a specialist, we place a referral, and then great, they have their insurance, they can bill for specialty care. If they needed surgery, they have that like major medical coverage. So it's like, be honest, because all high deductible plans are more or less major medical. We can't call them that, but $6,500 before your insurance kicks in, tell me that's not a major medical plan. That's a major medical plan, in my opinion. So the other people are those who do cost sharing networks, which I won't go into a ton of detail because that'd take me 15 more minutes to go into that. But it's basically a major medical plan, but it's not considered insurance. And then people who are uninsured, like they can't afford anything, but they need something. So they need like 80 to 90% of their care they can receive from a direct primary care membership, which ranges between $29 to $109, depending on age, which is significantly cheaper than if you went through our state here and didn't qualify for any subsidies. So we don't necessarily recommend that because people are so vulnerable to a major medical bill, but people have utilized our services in that way. And so we try to just treat as much as we can, keep them out of the emergency department, right? Is there a way we can avoid this surgery? You know, we're trying to advocate financially for them because they're a more vulnerable population in that way.
Got it. So it seems like you're trying to evangelize to like 3 different categories of people.
Yeah.
And you're teach them about this new system of direct primary care. I wasn't aware of it until I came across your company.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you do primarily 2 kinds of content. You do the more promotional content as well as the Teaching Tuesdays.
Right.
So can you get into what you do specifically in these videos? Like how long are these videos and what do you do in them?
You bet. Well, what I was told from some marketing people is, and that I trust, and I've heard this over and over again, is that you have to provide value content either to your website, whether that's for SEO development, or value content to your Facebook or Instagram or whatever, because people will get they'll get fatigued if all they see is like, sign up for direct primary care, sign up for direct primary care. You want to provide value, and then as people begin to see value with your information, then they'll be more apt to continue to look at your stuff and maybe sign up for direct primary care in the future, right? So as a professional, again, I don't mean this in like any pride way, but like, you know, I'm an expert in my field in family medicine. And so there's some skill involved and some knowledge involved that I could share that could be valuable to others. So I use that to try to add information about like last month was colon cancer screening month. And so I had a little piece just about colon cancer and who could benefit from it and why we're doing it and are there alternatives and what are the risks. And I try to keep it to less than 5 or 6 minutes because that's about how long our attention span is, probably more like 2.5, honestly. But so I try to make these like short, succinct information, and that helps add value to our members and our website. And it's so nice to have, I've searched multiple, I keep promoting your product, but I've searched multiple Chrome recording screen share softwares. And I just, I don't know why they don't offer like the screen share, you can see your face and screen record. And your platform makes it so much easier to do both at the same time, just hit record. And so it becomes really easy just I can open up a Google Slides thing or one image right behind, screen share that of prescription like pill bottles. So now people know like, oh, this is about meds and how can I save on meds? And now they're going to hear a presentation and see my face. Or for the colon cancer screening thing, we don't show pictures of colons. That'd be gross.
No doubt.
So yeah, just say colon cancer screening, and then see a face, and they'll realize, okay, this is more than just a picture. There's a video behind here, and then use that to add value to our product. Yeah.
Got it. So you're just walking through a PowerPoint or a Google Slides presentation while you're speaking.
Yeah.
So it's a slide deck. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
So what's your recording setup? Like what computer, camera, audio, that sort of thing?
Oh man, I have a really crappy setup, and I would like something better. I should show you some audio stuff that we have. I kind of have this dream to do a podcast, so like begin to grab supplies with that. But right now, I just use probably the cheapest Samsung that you can buy from Walmart, and no special audio or anything along those lines. And I've felt like the audio, the video quality that has been recorded has been good enough for what we're doing, right? It's not broadcasting across a TV screen or something along those lines. Most people are watching from a digital device on their phone who access our content. And so it's been good enough, I would say, to deliver that. Now, would a MacBook Pro be better and some finer audio? I think that's in the future, maybe something we would like to do.
Okay. So you mentioned you use Facebook promoted posts to publicize some of these videos. So if you can tell me about your general marketing strategy for getting people to watch these videos.
Yeah.
How do you go about it?
Well, I try to, I think headlines are important, and trying to find topics that are top of mind and that are, what's going on today that people have a lot of questions about. So, this is in Washington, medical marijuana became legal. This was several years ago. So that would have been an interesting topic to talk about CBDs, and is there any medical benefit to this? And then if you do go to a marijuana shop, like, what would you buy? And what are the risks associated with that? Increased risk of psychosis, and like who needs to be aware of some of the risks associated with it, right? From a medical standpoint, I have to be a little bit careful to give like medical advice because I can be liable for that. So I try to touch on things that isn't directly giving like medical advice, like everyone needs to do this or something along those lines. Like the keto diet is very popular. And so talking about that and where it originated from for like seizure control and what we're seeing metabolically and how it can work with weight loss and who could benefit it, like diabetics. And so I try to pick subjects where it's something that people are interested in. Like the colon cancer thing, it was colon cancer month, and we'll probably do a breast cancer thing come October, November, or something along those lines. And I don't know, I'm still feeling out like what's the value? What do people find? Are they finding that interesting? And so I'm like constantly looking at analytics and did this get a lot of video read comments? And I'm not a marketing professional, so I'm just kind of using my basic knowledge to say, hey, was that valuable to people? Was it valuable to our members? And then kind of going from there.
Got it.
Yeah.
So what feedback have you got from your clients on these videos?
I have probably not much. I think I've had some shares. So what I've found, I guess the conclusion with that would be that I read this book called Contagious, Why Things Catch On. And part of the book talked about people like to add value to a conversation, right? We don't want to be a dull nail, right? So what I found is that the most feedback that I get is that if we provide something valuable, people will share that with their friends because they'll think about their friends and they want to provide some valuable information. And so that kind of continues to help me deliver content that is like, is this valuable enough that somebody would share it with somebody they know? Yeah.
Got it. So what are some of the things you've learned in making these videos that you could share, potentially best practices? How have you improved in making videos over time?
Okay. Well, short and sweet is big. I think being personal. And so I try not to do so many takes or have a script that it sounds like I have a script or did a ton of takes, right? So if I mess up sometimes, that's okay. Because I think it's important for at least my product to be personable. And then background has been important for me. Like it's annoying. Like if I have this like line in the back of my head, like that's, for a photographer, that's bad, and use the rule of thirds. And so I try to like, at least to a certain extent, there's probably somebody is probably really bothered by the symmetry here though. So I don't know.
Not me though.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So I try to think about those things. Like, is there anything distracting going on? Add hand gestures and try to be very conversational. So those things I've focused on. And I've done a little bit of video editing and audio I know is important, and I kind of kick myself for not having a better setup, but audio, background, lighting, all of that makes a difference. My brother who does video editing says like, hey, if you record crap, Like you cannot edit crap into, you can't polish a turd is the saying. So,
Right.
so I try to record something well enough that it can be delivered. Those are the things I'm always trying to tweak, delivering a message clearly, succinctly, keeping it short, but being very personal and active.
Okay. And your videos, do you have a script that you go by, or do you just have things on mind? How do you prepare before you record a video?
I find it for me that if I write out a script, I sound scripted. So I have bullet points and I know what I'm going to talk about, and then just kind of ad lib from there. And then I probably will do 10 to 12 takes because I'll say something like, oh, that sounds stupid, or the lights will turn off. We have these automatic lights, they'll turn off in the background. It's like, well, I need to do that again, or somebody will walk in the door, something like that. So I do a ton of takes until I feel like it's meeting all of that quality, because it is representative of our business, our clinic. So you want it to represent well in that way. But no, for our content, nothing official, because I want it to be more like a conversation.
Got it. So just to kind of rephrase, these videos that you're making are primarily in a pre-sales context, right? You're trying to get people interested in your company and build awareness about your company.
Yeah.
Do you also, is that primarily the way it's used? You're using videos for finding potential clients?
Yeah, 95% of the videos we use are that way. Another 5% makes up educational for other employees, or educational for, I guess, potential clients too, who are having some technical issues, is what we use it for.
So today you record yourself, yourself while giving a presentation. Are you thinking about other kinds of video content to create apart from just yourself, or other slides, Google Slides one?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if this answers your question, but like interviewing, I've thought about doing interviewing where you bring in a professional. So we bring in a GI specialist and he talks about colon cancer screening and the difference between Cologuard and fecal blood tests and colonoscopies and things like that. It's a little bit hard to do an interview like this, like have them stand, hey, I'm with Johnny so-and-so. Literally our knees would probably be touching if you're doing that. But that is something that I've thought about doing. And it's like, well, maybe I just step out of the way, or there's some limitations with that. That is like how I'm continuing to expand the idea about how do I use video to communicate messages and add value is one way that I've considered it. Yeah.
Can you think of any, I don't want to put you in the spot, but
Okay.
any features that you will need going forward in Outclip to make your life easier and add value that you can translate to some interesting content for your clients?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. Like a beta, just a very simple post-editing possibilities, right? Okay. So when I hit record and I'm like looking up and oh gosh, we're recording, I can just snip that off or snip off the end, maybe add text or something like that. I don't know the details on what that takes to do, but that would be awesome. And just clean up some of the files a little bit. I think it's unreasonable to ask for a ton of work, like, oh, I want a picture in a picture in a picture, and to add text and I don't know, all these type of things. Just if you just snip off the beginning, snip off the end, maybe levelize the audio, that'd be awesome.
Awesome. So Matt, we in fact that we have that feature now in our pro tier, and I'm gonna soon after this, in our interview, soon after the interview, I'm gonna enable it for you. So.
Oh my gosh, serious? Oh man, I'm super excited.
So that kind of wraps up everything I had. Is there anything else you want to tell our audience about creating interesting informational content for their clients to grow their business?
I just want to I just want to say that I really appreciate your feedback, and I reviewing this. But if anybody's looking for some software or content, Outclip has been. And you in particular, I mean, you're the one who responded to me. Like I was shocked. Within 48 hours, you had my problem fixed, and I had another problem a month later, and you fixed it within 48 hours. And to me, what that emphasizes is that you're listening to your users, and I mean actively solving it, but looking to continually improve your product. It's not like here's a product, let it go, and you're listening to a small guy like me. Like I'm just a user, and you're willing to create a solution for it. And so that's the last thing I guess I would say is just that I think the potential of this right now is it's a high quality product, and I'm excited for what you think of and what this continues to develop in the future. So yeah.
Excellent. All right. Thank you so much, Matt. Thanks for sharing, giving us an overview of your company, your business, and talking about how you make videos for your clients.
Absolutely.
Great.
Yeah,
All the
thank
best.
you.
Thanks a
Yeah.
lot.
Mhm.